What if I told you that being broke is not always just bad luck, low income, or the rising cost of living? What if part of the pain you live in is a pattern you have secretly learned to repeat? This is not about being lazy. It is not about being stupid. It is about something far more dangerous. You have learned to make being broke feel emotionally familiar. And in the human mind, what feels familiar often masquerades as safety. We cling to what we know, even when what we know is actively destroying our future. You wake up, you check your balance, you feel the familiar tightening in your chest, and you navigate the day through the same narrow lens of scarcity. It is a script you have memorized. You know the lines, you know the ending, and you know exactly how to play the part. But that predictability is a trap. It keeps you anchored in a cycle that feels like home, simply because you have lived there for so long. The discomfort you feel right now is the first step toward breaking that seal. You are not just fighting numbers on a screen. Some people do not just struggle with money. They unconsciously rebuild the same financial chaos over and over again. You make a little progress, you find a sliver of hope, and then it happens. One bad decision, one emotional purchase, one excuse, one setback. Suddenly, you are back in the same hole, telling yourself the same story you told last year. Most people assume this is just a money problem. It is not. It is a psychological identity. It is a cycle of stress, temporary relief, self-sabotage, and guilt. The longer you live in this loop, the more normal it begins to feel. You have become an expert at managing the crisis. So when the crisis disappears, you do not feel relieved. You feel exposed. This is why some people actually panic in peace. When things are quiet, when the bills are paid, you feel a strange, hollow anxiety. Because stability feels like a foreign country, but chaos feels like home. You are failing because you are terrified of what happens when the struggle stops. The first reason people stay broke is internal habit. Not just bad habits with money, but bad habits with emotion. Because a lot of spending is not really spending. It is self-medication. It is stress relief wearing the disguise of a purchase. Think about the last time you bought something you did not need. Was it really about the item? Or was it about the feeling you were trying to escape? Loneliness disguised as convenience. Boredom disguised as a reward. Insecurity disguised as a lifestyle. That is why you can promise yourself to save money in the morning and sabotage yourself by evening. The real trigger was never the item. It was the feeling. The purchase was just the anesthetic. Every time you soothe pain with spending, your brain learns a dangerous lesson. Being overwhelmed means buy something. Feeling behind means upgrade something. Feeling empty means consume something. You are using money to silence the parts of your life that you are not yet ready to face. But the silence is expensive, and the price is your future. The second reason people stay broke is social pressure. You are not just managing your money. You are managing your image. An image is expensive. A lot of people are not buying things because they need them. They are buying protection from judgment. They are buying proof. Proof that they are doing okay. Proof that they belong. Proof that they are not falling behind. This is why you often spend the hardest when you can least afford it. It is not because you are irrational. It is because humiliation is expensive. Because looking left behind hurts. In a world obsessed with appearances, financial restraint feels like a social risk. You go into debt to protect a version of yourself, decorating your instability to keep the illusion alive. Social media has made this worse. You no longer compare yourself to your neighbors. You compare yourself to edited lifestyles, rented luxury, and curated success. And when you consume enough of that, ordinary life starts to feel like failure. So you spend to keep up with fantasies. But the wealthiest move is often the least impressive one. It is saying no. It is leaving early. It is not upgrading. It is repeating the outfit. It is keeping the old car. It is skipping the status game entirely. This is difficult to do when your ego still needs witnesses. Because real wealth often grows in silence while fake wealth performs for attention. Think about the last time you chose not to participate in a social expense. Did you feel relieved? Or did you feel a strange, hollow itch to justify your choice? That itch is your ego demanding a witness. It wants to be seen, to be validated, to be recognized as successful. But every time you feed that ego with a purchase, you starve your future. True financial power is not found in the things you display. It is found in the things you refuse to buy. It is the quiet, invisible discipline of building a life that does not require a performance. The status game is a trap designed to keep you broke while you try to look rich. The moment you stop playing, you stop losing. The third reason people stay broke is the financial reality they refuse to look at. Every pattern has a price. Every impulse has a future cost. Every delay in discipline compounds. Being broke is expensive. It costs you interest. It costs you options. It costs you peace. It costs you time. And worst of all, it steals years from your future while making you think the damage is small. 1,000 small leaks can sink a life. Subscriptions you forgot. Impulse purchases you rationalized. Credit card balances you normalized. Lifestyle upgrades you absorbed too quickly. These are not just transactions. They are tiny financial wounds that, when repeated for years, become structural damage. One day you wake up and ask where it all went. But it went where it always goes. It vanished into the gap between what you felt and what you could actually afford. Each excuse is a thief. Each just this once is a brick removed from your foundation. You are systematically trading your future freedom. This is the brutal truth. The life you want is being stolen by the habits you excuse. It does not happen all at once. It happens quietly, daily, almost invisibly. You tell yourself that you are rewarding your hard work, but look closer at the pattern. Is it a reward? Or is it a recurring act of self-destruction? You treat yourself to a dinner you cannot afford. You treat yourself to an upgrade you do not need. You treat yourself to convenience because you are tired. But every time you use a purchase to soothe a moment of stress, you are not treating yourself. You are anesthetizing your own potential. You have turned the act of spending into a lifestyle. It feels like comfort in the moment, but it is actually a slow-motion collapse of your own future. You are trading your long-term security for a fleeting hit of relief. Stop calling it a treat. Start calling it what it is. A choice to remain exactly where you are. The cycle is a cage you are building. So what is the exit? It starts with one uncomfortable idea. You must stop seeing being broke as your enemy, and start seeing it as a pattern you have learned. Because what is learned can be unlearned. You are not doomed. You are trained. And training can change. But only when you stop romanticizing your own struggle. You have been playing the lead in a tragedy you wrote yourself. It is time to stop. The first daily habit is simple. Before every non-essential purchase, you must pause and ask one question. Am I buying relief? Or am I buying value? That one question can save you thousands. It interrupts the trance. It forces honesty. It separates your emotional hunger from your actual need. Most people do not need more stuff. They need more awareness. When you catch yourself reaching for your wallet to soothe a bad day, stop. Ask the question. If the answer is relief, put the item back. Walk away. You do not become financially free the day you make more money. You become financially dangerous the day chaos stops feeling exciting. The day peace stops feeling like a punishment. The day you realize that the quiet, boring, invisible work of building a life is the most radical thing you can do. Most people fail not because they are incapable, but because they cannot tolerate the emotional silence of doing things right. They crave the applause, the drama, and the immediate hit of the transaction. But you are different now. You have learned to love the invisible win. The money that stays in your account. The debt that shrinks in the dark. The impulse that you kill before it ever reaches your wallet. These are the victories that build empires, and they happen without a single witness. You are not broken. You are not cursed. You were simply loyal to a version of yourself that could not lead you into wealth. That version of you is gone. You have unlearned the script. You have stopped defending the struggle. Now, you stand in the silence of your own discipline. It might feel empty at first, but that emptiness is not a lack of life. It is space. Space for a future you have finally earned the right to build. Walk into that space. Keep your head down. Do the work that nobody sees. Your freedom is not coming from a miracle. It is coming from the quiet, consistent, and invisible choices you make starting today.